Boycotting Amazon might make a personal statement, but it doesn't get you out of the system. It just shifts where your money flows, and that's up to another billionaire. Hey everyone, welcome to the More Than Words podcast, where you can get happily ever after hours. I am USA Today bestselling author Dakota Willink, author of Dark-ish Billionaire Romance. If you are familiar with the podcast, you know that I like to start off with something that I'm loving and something that I am hating. Currently, right now, I am loving Pure Integrity candles. They're actually from a local store that is, it's at a mall near where I live, except that mall is going to be closing soon. So I'm not sure where they're going to relocate, but I love their candles. This particular one is pumpkin pecan waffle. I think that one's autumn something or another, the one that's burning behind me. It's a soy candle. They have nice little lids, wooden lids. It's a local business, but I'm lazy and I don't like to leave the house. So I get them on Amazon. Yeah, there's a lot of small businesses on Amazon, which is part of why we are going to talk about what we're talking about today. Because what I'm hating right now are the keyboard warriors that are on social media that prompted the conversation I'm going to dive into here. Most episodes of the More Than Words podcast are usually one-on-one author chats because, they're fun. However, I am likely to drop in solo if there's a topic in the book world that needs addressing. And given the state of the world, a lot of things I feel like, especially in politics, are crossing into the book world, and this is one of those times. So, the conversation that's happening in the author and reader community right now is about whether or not we should boycott Amazon, particularly Kindle Unlimited. Authors are being shamed if they're a KU author. Readers are being told they shouldn't buy from Amazon, from authors who sell on Amazon. And this is not the first time that this has come up. It's just that it's making the rounds again for whatever reason. You might have seen the posts on social media, or maybe you haven't. If you haven't, then consider yourself lucky to have avoided some of the drama. Full disclosure, I am in KU, but I'm relatively new there. I sold my books wide for almost a decade until about 9 months ago when I enrolled in KU for business reasons. Still, some people don't seem to care about why an author might choose to do this. I'm not going to explain why I did it. It was my decision that was best for me and my family and my business. The people online that are talking about this, they only seem to care about an action, disregarding the fact that every action they're demanding might actually mean a family can't eat or a reader can't read because, subscription models, sometimes it's the only way people can get their books. And then we're told that it's not about the money. It's about the stories, the craft, the principle. You shouldn't care about making money. Well, I actually have to laugh at that because I'm here to say that I wouldn't be able to write books if there was no money to be made. I have to be able to financially contribute to my family. So the money actually does matter. And the argument usually boils down to, um, well, I'm not going to buy your books because I don't want to support a billionaire because I disagree with A, B, C, D. And you know what? That is your right. It's your right to go and speak your mind. It's a free country, for now. I get it. Political tensions are high. People are angry. I am too. I mean, God knows if you follow me on threads, I'm screaming about the state of the world pretty regularly. I'm out on the streets protesting. I'm making my 5 calls. I'm engaging in community and donating, whenever it's necessary. Um, but now, before you go off and say that authors shouldn't get political, I've got news for you. Politics, they're likely in every single romance book that you've read in some way, shape, or form. It's in my books. It's in authors that I know. Sometimes it's more obvious, and sometimes it's more subtle. And right now, politics are threatening the romance genre itself. There are states that are actually trying to ban books altogether. They're calling it porn, but that's whatever, conversation for a different day. Um, Ultimately, politics, they are personal. So it's natural for political topics to be woven into our stories. And it's not just romance. I mean, you can look at other genres too. If you take like George Lucas, for example, he wrote Star Wars, and it was intentionally written to include power, authoritarianism, and democracy. It's actually in plain sight if you know what you're looking at. Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia are literally what the Trump administration would label as Antifa. But the difference is that the Rebel Alliance, they actually had organized leadership. So there's that. In the real world, Jeff Bezos could be called or compared to Palpatine, I guess, being the infrastructure emperor that he is. I'm not here to tell anyone where to publish their books or where to buy their books. Not at all. I'm not telling you you have to buy from KU or you have to publish on Amazon. To each their own. I mean, you do you, babe. This is more about just telling you exactly what is happening. And when you're not when you're not supporting authors who are on Amazon, or if you're not reading from Amazon, where your money might be going to instead. Because here's the thing, Amazon is not the only billionaire in the room. In fact, every major publishing platform from Apple to Google to Kobo to Barnes and Noble, Libby, and even Shopify is owned by billionaires or billion-dollar corporations. So if you boycott Amazon but still publish or shop anywhere else, your money is still flowing up to a billionaire. So, in today's episode of the More Than Words podcast, I'm going to break it all down. I used Open Secrets 2024 election cycle data and various Google searches. I was also able to look up who owns each publishing platform, how wealthy they are, um, how the company's employees and PACs donate politically, including to Trump, and to where independent bookstores fit into the big picture here. Because yeah, even buying from an independent bookstore feeds the beast. I just do want to make a quick note on political donations, because there is a common misconception out there about who can donate where. In the US, corporations cannot directly donate to federal candidates. So if you go onto Open Secrets, it'll say, Home Depot donated X amount to Trump or to the Republican Party, or Target donated X amount to the Republican Party. That's actually not the company. So when I talk about a company that donated to Trump or a political party, I'm actually looking at donations that are made by employees, executives, or PACs associated with the company. A company cannot donate. These are just the employees and the people associated with it. So now, before I go on and get into the meat of this, I'm going to ask you to hit the like button. Doing that feeds the algorithm, allowing more people to find this podcast and hopefully find new authors for you to read in the process. Now, I'm just going to pull up my notes here. For those who know me, I'm a data girly, and I don't want to quote you the wrong numbers when I'm breaking down each of the platforms here. So, okay, so let's start with Amazon, the company at the center of the boycott conversation. Amazon's current CEO, as you might know, is Andy Jassy, not Bezos, even though Jeff Bezos is worth around 200 billion and owns about 9% of Amazon stock. In the 2024 election cycle, Amazon affiliated employees and PACs donated over 8 million to political candidates. Roughly 212,000 went to Trump, and the rest primarily went to Democrats. So out of that 8 million, 212,000 went to Trump. However, Bezos did have a desire to protect his business interests, including Amazon's government contracts. So, despite historically leaning liberal, he basically bent over for Trump at every chance that he got after the last election. Jassy, on the other hand, he just works quietly behind the scenes with lawmakers rather than put himself on Trump's radar, which is smart, in my opinion. Now, let's talk Apple Books. This one really gets me going because I love Apple products, but right now I kind of hate that I'm supporting them. Apple's CEO is Tim Cook. His net worth is only around 2 billion, when only I say, but when you're comparing it to some of like the big hitters here, he's small potatoes. However, in what he's doing with Trump is a whole other thing altogether. In 2024, Apple employees donated 95% to Democrats and only 5% to Republicans. But since the start of Donald Trump's presidency, Tim Cook has cultivated this close relationship with the administration to protect Apple's business interests from potential tariffs and other insane regulations. This includes, what he's done is like direct lobbying, personal donations, and publicly promoting large scale investments in the US that align with Trump's America First agenda. In many ways, in my opinion, Tim Cook's capitulation might be worse than Jeff Bezos, and it's never really talked about. Google Play, or Google Play Books, is another giant. Google's parent company is Alphabet, founded by Larry Page and Sergey Brin. Each of them are worth about 150 billion. In 2024, Alphabet affiliated donors gave 89% to Democrats and 11% to Republicans. So I'm just going to go back to that number, 150 billion each for the founders. So if you switch from Amazon to Google Play, thinking that you're avoiding a billionaire's influence, you're actually sending just more money to two of the richest men in the world. So now let's move on to Kobo. Kobo is owned by Rakuten, whose founder is worth around 8 billion. U.S. political donations from Rakuten affiliated sources leaned about 87% Democratic. And I didn't find any significant contributions to Trump. But even still, I mean, let's be honest, Rakuten isn't some indie co-op. It's a multinational tech giant. That their reach is very far. In fact, some of my best sales come from Kobo in foreign markets. So there's that. Then there's Barnes and Noble. I love going in there and browsing all the shelves. I get coffee. I browse the clearance book cover hardcovers because I usually have like a great selection of hardcover clearance books. I shop all the bookish goodies. I'm a huge sucker for stationery. I think I have some candles back here too, that are from Barnes and Noble as well. These stores, these brick and mortar stores, are often romanticized as being like the ethical alternative to Amazon. But in 2019, Barnes and Noble was acquired by Elliott Management. Elliott Management is a hedge fund that was founded by billionaire Paul Singer, who's worth around 6 billion. His political donations lean heavily Republican, including major contributions to the RNC and some other conservative groups, such as Charlie Kirk's Turning Point. So I don't know what your opinions on that are, but anyways, so if you think you're buying books at Barnes and Noble is somehow this moral rebellion, it's really just supporting a different billionaire, but this one has deep ties to the Republican Party. So now at this point, I can hear everyone screaming to go to the library. If you can't afford to buy your books, and rather than, to do a subscription service like Kindle Unlimited, go to the library because it's free. You can read for free. Yes, but I hate to break it to you. Even your library app is ultimately controlled by private equity billionaires. Libby, or Overdrive, is what the app is called, the library ebook app. It is owned by KKR, a private equity firm that was co-founded by Henry Kravitz and George Roberts, both worth around $9 to $10 billion. KKR is a major political donor across both parties. So now I can hear you all saying, well, then buy author direct. Yeah, and I don't I have a love-hate thing for Shopify, but I'll explain that in a minute. Shopify they're often upheld like as being this gold standard for author independence. Shopify's founder and CEO, Toby Lutke, is worth over 10 billion. And yes, Shopify is closer to an author controlled platform, but it's still a billionaire backed company. I can personally attest that having a Shopify store is so much easier said than done. And also, not all authors have the money or the expertise to take on direct sales. It really is not something that's easy to do. It took me months to set up my own particular store, the shop dakotawillink.com store. And I consider myself to be pretty tech savvy. It also wasn't cheap despite doing it myself. I only survived the whole process because I had an author friend who helped me to build out the store because it was like it might as well have been learning Chinese for a little while there. Uh, I could have hired out, but then it would have cost me upwards of like $3,000 and more just, and that was just for the shop. That was just to set up the shop, like $3,000. That didn't even include the maintenance that it would have, took to just keep it running. And then there's the ads. That's a um Facebook ads are basically a necessity if you have a Shopify store because readers are not flocking to go buy direct. Most likely, an author who has a store is running Facebook ads. And if they're not, they're probably not running ads at all. Either way, um, they're probably being run on Facebook. And therefore, what are you doing when authors are running ads that you can go to their Shopify store? You are now supporting another billionaire, Mark Zuckerberg, because ad revenue goes to him. So, I mean, so are you seeing a pattern here? Shopify means ads, which means more money to a billionaire. So there's also the independent bookstores to consider. Those are often, set up as like another alternative. But the thing is, most indie bookstores, they don't buy from authors. They order through wholesalers like Ingram. That means stores typically buy at a wholesale discount, which is often 40 to 50% off the cover price. If your book isn't returnable, many stores won't stock it at all. Some stores expect consignment, where the author has to front the inventory only to get paid after it sells. And it's also risky for a small bookstore to buy indie. Many of them stick to top selling authors simply because it's a safe sell. And that's perfectly okay because they have to make a living too. I'm not telling them that they have to stock all these indie books in their store and just hope that somebody buys them. It's a risk. I get it. I get it. Um, but what this means for authors is that um, while indie bookstores might be an amazing, opportunity for visibility and community engagement, it usually doesn't translate into meaningful income for an author unless an author is doing a large scale event or participating in some sort of bulk sales thing. Um, but there's even more at play. Independent bookstores, I mentioned earlier, they typically run through Ingram, and Ingram is it's more billionaires, people. It's a massive family-owned distribution giant whose net worth is like $5.7 billion. So again, the indie ecosystem still relies on billionaire corporate infrastructure. So, I mean, I guess the bottom line is that every major publishing platform is billionaire backed. Their employees donate to both parties, including Trump. Independent bookstores operate through large distribution networks. And boycotting Amazon, while it might make a personal statement, it doesn't get you out of the system. It just shifts where your money flows, and you're just sending it up to just a different billionaire. That's it. It's just going to a different billionaire. Just it's either one or the other because of the way our system is designed. But the issue is actually much bigger than that. I mean, just look at what happened earlier in the week with AWS. That was all over the news. AWS is Amazon Web Services. AWS went down and it sparked a conversation that perhaps two companies, Google and Amazon, shouldn't control the majority of the world's online infrastructure. Because everything we touch, from Verizon to Venmo to AT&T to Snapchat, HBO, well, now it's called Max, Lyft, Snapchat, 30% of the global market relies on AWS. Another 30% relies on Google. Like that's just nuts to me. So if one company goes down, 30% of the globe is suddenly offline. Like, what? Like, it's kind of crazy. But here's the thing. Another thing about Amazon and these Amazon retail boycotts, it doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter to Amazon if you boycott the stores because 62% of Amazon's operating profit comes from their web services, that system that just went down. It's their bread and butter. Unlike Amazon retail, where the majority of the sellers are small businesses, just like the candle company that I talked about when I opened up this episode. It's authors like me. People are out here canceling authors and boycotting KU when there's billionaires that are out there supporting the banning of books. I mean, seriously, people, our priorities need to shift. The White House is being demolished. The whole East Wing was just wiped out. We've got masked men running around the country, scooping up brown and black people that are American citizens, mind you. It just instead of like these performative boycotts, perhaps a smarter conversation should be, more about how to elevate authors that we know and love. We live in a world where only 1% of the population controls nearly half of the world's wealth. Wealth inequality in this world is so out of control. And some of these actions that we're taking, it just hurts the little guys. We need to stop pretending that Amazon's the only game in town. It's not. Instead, I think we need to do more to lift up others, regardless of where they choose to publish or choose to buy their books, rather than have all this infighting that just hurts the 99%. I kind of feel like I'm channeling Bernie Sanders right now, the top 1% of 1%. I don't know. Anyway, so there you have it. Now, like I do with all episodes, I like to end with an unpopular opinion about something that's non-book related. So if you're watching this, you're probably looking down at your phone. Not enough people are seeing the person that's sitting right in front of them. We are addicted to the little boxes in our hands. I'm not immune. Mine's sitting right here. It's been going off as I'm recording this. This is why my unpopular opinion is to look up. Get off your phone, go outside, take a walk, talk to your neighbor, or maybe go support your local candle maker. It's easy to be a keyboard warrior, critiquing how others choose to live their lives, or publish their books, or read in a way that allows their family to eat. It's a lot harder to converse in person than with a stranger. So perhaps if we did that more, we'd have more empathy in the world. So that's it for me today. Wishing you all a fabulous Friday, and I'm going to go spend the rest of my day looking up. Hey everyone, thank you for tuning into the More Than Words podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button and consider sharing it with your friends so more people can find us. The more people we have listening, the more fun we can have on our shows. And most of all, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting authors everywhere. Thanks and happy reading.